Hello, last section, subsection 4.4, and we're going to cover two things here. We're going to cover destination reports and then additional industry reports. So let me share screen. Destination reports to start with, and let's define them. Destination reports, the primary user here are tourism organizations. As I said, STR deals with 1,000 different tourism organizations around the world, from local, cities and counties to countries to UNWTO and the United Nations World Tourism Organization. All of those entities are obtaining data from STR to keep to know what's going on with their members, their hotels, and as the slide says, it helps these organizations keep their finger on the pulse of the hotel industry. But they're also used now. Doesn't mean that they're not the only people who use these reports. A lot of times, developers and hotel companies will use these reports. Now, they aren't responsible for a specific city, and it's not like they have members, but they're looking at a number of different development opportunities, and they may be checking out cities around the country or around the world, see how they're doing over time. Now, we're not going to cover all the various pages of one of these reports. We're going to cover the most popular page, which is called a multi-segment page. Now, the nice thing about this is the user, whoever is requesting this, can select multiple industry segments or multiple groups of hotels. If it's a country, you get the idea. They're going to get all the markets within the country, the sub-markets, maybe country by class or country by scale, or if it's a city, they may get sub-markets below the city. They can even pick groups of hotels. If they're hotels around the stadium or the harbor, they may get select groups of hotels, and they'll pick the industry segments. I'll show you an example of that in a minute. Then STR will generate destination reports either on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis or both. So some bigger organizations, they want to know how their hotels are doing each week. Think about it. As we're coming out of COVID, everybody wants to know every week, how do we do? How do we do? And so it can be very, very popular. Now, the most popular version of this multi-segment page will display two time periods, the current month and the year-to-date numbers. It's a monthly report. Let's take a look at it here. This is a sample from a destination, and we're back to Nashville again, and we're taking a look at various groups of hotels within Nashville. So this would be hypothetically a report that the Nashville Convention and Visitor Bureau could obtain. Let's look at the rows first and just go through the different rows and see all the various segments. And again, this is user definable. So this group actually said, hey, first thing we'd like to see on this report is the total country number for the US, and then a total state number. US is broken into 50 states, so they wanted to see the state that they're in. Then the city number. Nashville is the market. The next thing they wanted to see, and they have a group of them, they wanted to see, hey, let's look at how some competitor markets. These are the markets this Convention and Visitor Bureau feel like they compete against for group business. And so they listed a bunch down there, New Orleans, Atlanta, and so on. Then sub-markets. Now remember, tracked is a word for sub-market. This is an older report, so they still have tracked on there instead of sub-market. But the sub-markets are the segments within the market. And so you see the central business district, the airport, and so on. Next, you have Nashville by scale, then Nashville by class, even Nashville by size of hotel. Again, anything they can dream up. Nashville by location, urban, suburban, so on. And then even some customized areas like Convention Center, Vanderbilt, hotels around a university, Green Hills, sort of a high-end shopping area, and then Germantown, sort of a up-and-coming area being renovated. So you get the idea. They pick all the rows. Then in the columns that follow, they get all the key performance indicators for the various groups of hotels that they've selected. You'll see the occupancy this year and last year, the ADR this year and that last year. And notice this is current month data. Then RevPAR, and they show percent changes for each of the key KPIs, and they include the raw data, the rooms available, rooms sold, and room revenue in there. So all the percent changes for the current month. And you look down there, you can see if you look at scale data, you're going to see how did the luxury hotels do this month. They had an occupancy of 81. Upper upscale had 81, upscale 84. You get the idea. You can see each group and how they differed. So valuable information in here. Besides the current month section, there's a year-to-date section. And then on the right-hand side, there is participation information. So it is going to show you the actual number of hotels in each of these groups and how many actually participated as well. So that is the most popular page in a destination report. If we zoom in, you can see this information in detail, and you see the various submarkets. For example, look at the occupancy in the central business district is 84, in the airport at 73, in the northern I-65 North submarket at 71, Murfreesboro at 72, Brentwood, Franklin 79. So again, if I'm a convention and visitor bureau, I'm seeing how each of the submarkets under my market are doing. Valuable data. Good. And here's another one, just so we're not totally US centric here. This is a sample for Beijing. And again, it could be the tourism organization or the government in Beijing could get a report like this to show how various subsets of hotels are doing. You see a total China number, and then you see market data, class data, size data, other Chinese markets, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and then other Asia Pacific markets around all of Asia. And again, current month and year-to-date data. So you get the idea, very valuable, user definable. You get the, and a organization would get these every month, or they could choose to get them every week. Good, very simple quiz here. Just a few questions related to the destination, not a big emphasis on the exam, but there's just like one question on the exam for these. The last section is called additional ad hoc reports and data files. This is optional, so there's no questions in the exam about this, but it's just for general information. Census database, what's meant by that? That's the attribute information about hotels. That's a data file that people get. If you're trying to do a market study, it does tell you detailed historic information about all the hotels in a market. You could find out what's the oldest hotel, which hotel has the largest number of rooms, and so on. It's provided in Excel format. There's some definitions there to be included in the database. What are the attributes of establishment? And here is the data. This is just a raw data file, one, a row for every hotel. But this shows you the types of fields that are in there. Meeting spaces in there. Latitude, longitude is in there. There'll be a generic email for the hotel. And then historic information, lots of other information in there. It just keeps on going. Affiliation information like management company and owner. And various attributes of the hotel. Does it have a restaurant? Does it have a golf club? So on. Another type of data file, and we saw this in the very first section, is those property and room counts. Remember, that's where you can pick a geographic area, subtotal it by any number of different fields, and then show the number of properties and rooms in that subsegment. So in the first chapter, we did the world by continent, subcontinent, country, and then we did country by market, We did country by scale, country by class, all kinds of different ways to slice and dice that. And we use that in the exercise to learn more about a country. You look at these industry statistics and you see, hey, what are the big markets in Germany, and how many luxury hotels are there in this country versus other countries. This is another example here, and this is just this is in the US. This is for the state of Tennessee, and you're looking at various markets and submarkets below a state. So lots of ways to slice and dice these property and room counts, but they provide statistical information, sort of size and structure information regarding a geographic area. STR does produce forecast reports. We do that in cooperation with Tourism Economics, the leading hospitality tourism firm that does forecasting around the world. And we've done that a long time for them. Great people. This just shows you a sample table of contents for the forecast. Here's the forecast summary there. Obviously, we're making projections ahead for the various key performance indicators and raw data fields, and we're looking ahead. A lot of information in that forecast. Feel free to get a sample of those if you'd be interested. And that is it. So that is the very end of the CHIA training. You have my email on there. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Dwayne is my colleague at STR that does a lot of the CHIA training and public workshops as well. So he may just have well been doing your workshop as I had. I've enjoyed being able to do these videos for you. I hope they're helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we're always glad to help. When it comes to the next step, obviously the next step is your exam. And as I said before, the best way to prepare for your exam is to go through all the quiz questions, review those, and make sure you're comfortable with the quiz questions. If you can get a 90% on your quiz, you will be assured to be able to pass your exam. The minimum score is 70%. And keep in mind, you do get a free retake. So don't stress out. Nobody's going to know your grade except for you and me. So I promise I won't tell anybody. And but you have a free retake, and so don't feel like you have to get 100%. When you get your certificate, the score will not be on your certificate. So it's simply pass or fail. So but best of luck to you. Definitely keep in touch. If you'd like more information on that advanced certification, please reach out. We'd be glad to help you one-on-one with that, or in a group. And best of luck to you. Hope you enjoyed this, and hope it was meaningful to you. All the best.